Your happiness, your fullness in life has everything to do with the state of your heart. Are you happy? Is your life full? Do you experience joy and peace, excitement, thrill, anger, sadness? Do you have a full range of emotions? I'd like to share with you some of the things I was thinking about this morning as I woke up early. Things that I've come to both because of my own personal experiences, but also through what others have shared with me in counseling, friendships, and other places, books that I've read. So what I want to share with you is your happiness, your fullness in life has everything to do with the state of your heart. Is your heart open? Is your heart alive? Is your heart feeling and experiencing and expressing its fullness? Or is it closed? Is it walled up? Is it shut down? Is it anxious or depressed, angry, bitter, resentful? So the state of your heart is crucial in your happiness. In my own life, there was a time where I was feeling really hurt, and I closed down my heart, who I thought was to one person, that one person who was hurting me. I thought if I could just shut down my heart just to that one person, then I could protect myself. But I was wrong. That you can't really shut down your heart to just one person. In fact, what happens is that little wall toward one person ends up being a wall all the way around your heart. And it changes the way you interact with everyone, and the way you feel, and the way you experience life. So I found for myself that I went from being hurt and angry to being bitter, resentful, empty, depressed, anxious, irritable, rageful, miserable, empty. And one day I drove into the mountains, something that I used to love, and found that I felt nothing. I thought, what is wrong with me? And I realized that I had so shut down my heart that I was sort of not alive anymore, that I was numb, that I couldn't even experience the joy of the beauty of the mountains. And so I began a journey of working on my heart and finding out what had happened to it. So for most of us, when we were children, we felt a lot. There were a lot of highs and there were a lot of lows. Sort of like this, lots of highs and lots of lows. And we felt fully. Do you remember the first time that you got a pet? Or do you remember the first time you went to go visit your cousins? You know, we were so happy about the smallest things. I remember seeing the candy lady at church, and she would greet me with a smile and a hug and give me a piece of candy. Or do you remember like getting ready for Christmas or your birthday or any of those small little things that made you so happy? Do you remember how excited you were first time you got a new tooth? So we felt fully, we felt a lot. We also felt sadness and anger too. We felt disappointment and loss. But the difficulty is that although some of us had parents or loved ones around us that helped us to work through that pain, many of us didn't. That dealing with emotions is not always comfortable for people. And so they tend to give us the message, don't cry, don't be mad, that's not okay, stop doing that, that's bad. And so we sort of shut down those emotions because we don't know what else to do with them. So we go from feeling a lot, highs and lows, to what do I do with this pain? What do I do with this sadness? What do I do with my anger? And we just try to sort of like cut it off. So when we cut off the lows, we actually also cut off the highs. Like they go hand in hand. So instead of being high and low, pretty soon we're about like this, and then pretty soon we're like this. And our hearts are shut down. So my question for you is, what are you doing with your heart? Life is still happening, pain is still happening, loss is still happening. And what do you do with that pain? Do you go that direction? Do you go towards shutting down your heart, becoming bitter, resentful, angry, depressed, anxious, numb, empty? Or do you go that direction? The opposite direction, which is to go toward opening your heart, to begin to feel those things that shut down your heart to begin with. Your losses, your sadness, those things that you needed from your parents and you didn't get, or those things that you did get that you didn't need. To be able to feel your anger, to be able to take it from being hidden and held within you and taking it out and expressing it, feeling it, processing it, being validated in it, sharing it with someone, being understood, knowing that you make sense, feeling what makes sense to feel, which says, I'm alive, and I matter, and I exist, and I count. And when we do that, when we go that direction, we begin to open up our hearts. We begin to feel again. We begin to grieve again. We begin to feel joy again. We begin to feel love again. We begin to feel anger again. But anger that doesn't just stay inside and turn to bitterness, anger that is expressed and released. Maybe we do something about it even. And then we let go, and eventually we forgive. And we can open up our hearts again. And we can feel again. And we can feel love and joy and happiness and hope. I remember the day I read these words. Above all else, guard your heart, because out of it is the wellspring of life. So in my own life, I've been going down that road. It's not just a once and done thing, it's a continual thing of working through those things that hurt, and those things that make you angry, those things that make you sad. Because every day it's a choice, what you do with your heart.